Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name is Merce, and today we're going to talk about advanced bar techniques. If you have ever felt stuck with traditional bar chords, this video is going to open a little bit a new world for you. Today I will show you some different techniques that go beyond just pressing all the 6 strings with a bar. We're going to be exploring different types of bars, like a partially arced shape, diagonal bars, preliminary ones, and as well some surprising historical fingerings from the 19th century's guitar music. These tools will make your left hand much more flexible and efficient, especially in complex passages. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying this type of content. Okay, the bar that we all know implies flattening the first finger of the index finger to get all the strings, right? Beginners and intermediate tend to apply way too much force in every barred chord. So we're going to go up one level and look at a very common way to reduce drastically this tension. For this, we're going to use the arched 6 strings bar, where you press all the 6 strings, but only certain strings are actually sounding. So how do we do that? When we put the regular bar, here everything's ringing, right? What we're going to do now is from this, you're going to keep the tip of the finger and you're going to release the tension of the rest of the finger, still keeping contact here with the base of the hand. So the movement is this, from here to this. See? This is still there. The first string is there, probably the second. But because we created this arch, 5th is usually missing, 4th also, 3rd as well. And from the 2nd, it's where you can start to have the bottom of your finger having enough pressure to get the sound. What does this make? The very common chords, you no longer need to hold the whole bar. This is really useful in situations where the inner strings are muted or even just not played. But because of the bass and melody movements, you still need to use a bar. And this system will allow you to play the bar without wasting energy or pressing that much harder. Look at this first example with the bass on the 5th string. We need the B flat, then we need the F here with the base of the index finger, and then the 3rd. It's a pretty comfortable grip, but we don't need the 3rd string, nor the 4th. So we have this. As you see, if I actually remove my 2nd finger so that you can see it well, my 1st finger is pretty arched, is not looking like a full bar. That's how a full bar would look, like this. That's a lot more pressure with the thumb here and with the hand, but this, it's way more comfortable. Let's do another example. Now on the 6th, we have the G here on the 6th string, then we will have the C on the 3rd, E on the 2nd, and the G, the same G, here on the 1st string. So we need only these 2 Gs with a bar. So we will put the bar such as like this, and then 3 and 4. If I were to remove 3 and 4, this is how it sounds. These 2 strings are muted, but the 1st is there. So experiment a little bit with these positionings because it really helps removing a lot of stress to the left hand. We can also try with a little bit more stretch on the left hand so that you can still feel the relief of not having the full bar. So we can have the B here, B natural on the 5th string, and then we have the D on the 2nd string, and then the F sharp in the bar. You could play like this, a full bar, and then arch it, and you see that for a full bar, my elbow will be also a little bit higher, and when I let go the hand, my elbow can drop a little bit, and then I'm using just my body weight, like this, to hold on to this chord and really The body weight is more than enough to press, so I don't really have to squeeze. I'm not squeezing the fretboard at all. You see the knuckle? This knuckle here goes outwards, and here it can come in and be a lot more relaxed. The next one is something that you really don't see very often, is the diagonal or transversal bar. Here your index finger will cover two strings, so bass and upper string, but in two different frets, so not on the same fret, but two different frets, so it's gonna go like this. It might sound weird, but it is incredibly effective for certain chords that were originally written using the thumb on the bass. But modern guitars are mostly too thick to grip. At least classical guitar, it is too thick for one to take this type of chords. It's very uncomfortable. Plus me, that I have small hand, is not really something I would ever even try, because it's absolutely not worth it. But you do see this type of technique a lot more in electric guitar and acoustic guitar, because the fretboard is a lot narrower. You will find this especially useful in music from the 19th century, when guitar players like Giuliani often use their left-hand thumb to play those very annoying bass notes. The advantage of this transversal bar is that it does free up an extra finger. It does take some getting used to get the pressure there, but once you get used to it, it opens up lots of harmonic possibilities that are not just doable with the standard technique. So a very good example is the introduction of the Rossiniana number 1, where this technique allows you to hold the structure of the chord without awkward stretching. As you can see in this chord, I'm basically holding the B and the A sharp, so this note and this note, but this one is with the base of my index finger, like this. And then I'm holding the E, the G and the C sharp here, but the pinky finger, when it's gone for a moment, I need to have the A sharp. That's how it used to be played, but no chance for me. In modern classical guitars, it's not really practical. Another useful variation is what I call the preliminary bar. Some people also call it a fake bar. It can receive different names, but just get the idea of what that is. Basically, this bar is when the first part of the phalanx, so of the index finger, so the bottom of the index finger, this segment presses only the first or second string, often in preparation to a larger shape. So there are notes that you could play like this, but because of what's coming next, you decide to press it like this, or sometimes because you have a bass in between that you need to free, but the next chord is a bigger chord, so you avoid making a lot of movement with the fingers, which is also more work, riskier, less legato. It has, let's say, it's more problematic. So in these situations, the preliminary bar can help a lot transitioning from one chord to the other. It's subtle, but it's really practical. It avoids uncomfortable string jumps with the index and keeps your hand a lot more grounded. Again, this shows up a lot in the 19th century guitar music, actually, especially when the thumb is used on the bass. So a great example we find in the Rossiniana number 5 in the section of B flat major. You see, in this case, we have this F is a top note. By playing it here, we can keep it ringing, and then we just lay down the second chord, and it creates a nice legato effect as well. I could play it here, but here is a lot more distance. Somebody with a very big hand, but here in that case you can better just take the first finger, because have the bar here is not really it's not really practical. So if you do this, you have to jump very fast, you put an accent. So the example before, the bar called the fingers. Now we're going to do the opposite. The fingers will call the bar into the next fret. We need here the D string open. We have D, D, and F sharp. And then we're going to land the full bar. So as you see, when you have this type of chord, it's very easy to press this top note with the base of the finger. And then it simplifies a lot the fact that the hand is already in position and you can just lean the whole bar. As we said before, not entirely, because look, this is not ringing, so just a very comfortable movement. If I would do it like this, there is much more of a jump, and I immediately feel a lot less connection between the chords, because I need to really try to go very fast and very light and really accurate, and this allows me to drag, and technically I feel a lot more at ease. Now here's something curious. In the 1800s, guitar players used all the fingers to make bars, even the thumb. Today, classical guitar players, we mostly use the index, but we can also use bars with a fourth finger, even sometimes with the second as well. Funny enough, modern guitar players tend to also train a lot and very consistently the third finger. It is useful to try it, and slowly over time you get more bend in the fingers, and that allows you to have bars with unconventional fingers. The fourth is the most forgiving in a way, because you can just put it flat and that's it, and then you can grip the rest of the chord. But the second, you need quite a bit of bend, and the third as well. All these bar chords are unconventional resources, but very useful if you need to keep other fingers free for a melody or an ornament, or make a change easier. So once you start experimenting with this, you will find that many pieces, and even within your own fingerings, passages can become easier. So just to recap, we looked at the arched bar, where the finger is not pressing all the strings, the diagonal, the preliminar, and all these other historical uses of the bar with the other fingers. If you start using even just one of these variations, you will notice your hand becoming a lot more adaptable, especially in complex and expressive music. Let me know in the comments below which one was new for you, or which one you're going to try in your next practice session. As always, thanks for watching, like and share the video to other fellow guitar players that can find it useful, and I'll see you in the next one.